What if I told you my classroom setup, something I thought I had totally figured out, nearly wrecked my first year of teaching? Yeah, that sounds dramatic, I know, but today I'm pulling back the curtain on something that doesn't get talked about quite enough. How most first year teachers set up their classrooms all wrong, okay? And how to avoid the chaos that I walked straight into. Welcome to the Teacher RockStar podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to providing valuable insights, practical tips, and best practices so that you can be successful in the classroom. I'm your host, Steve Hiles, a veteran teacher with 20 years of experience. Now, if you're a brand new teacher staring at an empty room, or maybe just a Pinterest board and you're having a mild panic attack, well, this episode is for you, so stick with me, okay? Because by the end of today's show, you'll walk away knowing, number one, what most rookie teachers get wrong about setup, okay? And two, what to prioritize so that your classroom actually works for you and not against you. And three, a mindset shift that will save you a bunch of time, energy, and your sanity, okay? Plus, I'm going to share the one layout decision that almost ruined my classroom management and the simple fix that changed it all. Okay, so let's get right to it. Here's the first truth I wish somebody would have told me. Your setup's job, it's to function. It's not to impress. But that's not what I thought back then. Nope. I had seen the Instagram photos, the perfectly coordinated reading nooks, the color-coded book bins, the custom bulletin board borders. So when I walked in my classroom that first day and looked around at my mismatched furniture, okay, blank walls and half-finished bulletin boards, I felt like I was already way behind, okay? You know the feeling? No theme, no flair. It was just me, a couple of push pins, and a lot of anxiety, I promise you that, okay? But here's what I learned the hard way. If your setup doesn't support your routines, it's not working, okay? Even if it looks cute on camera, okay? That's the point I want to drive home here. I didn't even have a real teacher desk that first year, just a little folding table shoved in a corner, and I thought, well, I'll be walking around quite a bit anyway, so it's not really a big thing. Turns out I needed it, badly. I spent half the day hunting down supplies and the other half wondering where I put my lesson plans. Okay, so lesson learned here. Your setup has to work for you, not just your students. Okay, so make sure you can reach what you need, monitor behavior easily, and reset your space without a whole bunch of stress. Okay, that's the important thing here. Are you a teacher who finds yourself drowning in the challenges of classroom management? Do student behaviors leave you feeling overwhelmed and drained at the end of each day? Picture this, a classroom where your students are not just present, but fully engaged, focused, and eager to learn. Say goodbye to classroom management stress and hello to success. The Teacher RockStar Academy course is meticulously designed to equip you with the tools and strategies needed to skyrocket your effectiveness as a teacher. Curious to know if the Teacher RockStar Academy course is the missing piece in your teaching journey? If you're ready to reclaim control of your classroom and witness the incredible impact on your students, then use the link in the podcast description to learn more about this program. Let's talk about the zone trap. You know what I mean when your classroom starts to feel like a miniature IKEA. You got a calm down corner, you got a math center, you have a writing station, a mindfulness map, a cozy reading nook. And suddenly it's all zones and no flow. You know, more spaces might seem engaging, but here's the real truth I want to drive home here today. Every new area you create is another place that needs structure, supervision, and a routine. Okay, so that's a lot to manage for a first-year teacher. You know, when you're also learning how to take attendance and handle transitions and figure out why 27 kids have their hands raised up all at one time. Okay, so in my first year, I created this adorable reading retreat. You know, a little carpet with pillows and books and a nice pretty little lamp, right? It sounds great in theory, but you know what happened in practice? Okay, it turned out to be a snack hideout. Okay. One day I found two kids having a full-on picnic back there, chips, juice boxes, the works. So simplify. Focus on these three things. Now, you need to take this down. Focus on a whole group area, independent work zone, and a teacher zone. Okay. You can always add more later as you get a little bit more comfortable and get into your groove. Obviously, once your systems are in place and they're solid. All right. So now here's the mind shift that really saved me. Your classroom setup is a draft. It's not the final version. Okay. If something isn't working, it doesn't mean that it's a failure. It just gives you feedback. So I used to think about rearranging the desks mid-year meant that I was doing something wrong. But when I finally ditched the rigid rows and tried a U-shape, game changer. Okay. I could circulate more easily, make eye contact, and cut out disruptions before they even started. And here's the big reveal that I promised you early. Okay. My biggest mistake, I put my small group table in the back of the room tucked behind a tall bookshelf. Okay. And I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool. I have a quiet little space for intervention. But it really became a blind spot. I couldn't see the other half of the class. So you can probably imagine what happened. Behavioral spiraled. My stress skyrocketed. Eventually, I moved a table in the front where I could see everybody, and suddenly everything felt more manageable. One small change that made a huge difference, okay? So I said all that to say this. If you're walking into your first classroom and wondering where to even start, well, let me say this to you. You don't need to have it all figured out. It don't have to be picture perfect, okay? You don't need color-coded bins or a fully themed out decor set. What you do need is a setup that serves you. Start simple. Make sure it functions. Let it evolve over time. So here's your quick setup checklist. Prioritize workflow over aesthetics. Minimize zones until routines are in place. Adjust as you go. This whole process is not set in stone. All right. You're going to grow so much this year. Okay. And that's a fact. And your classroom will grow with you. All right. Now, let me ask you this. Would you like a free classroom setup survival guide? I made a checklist just for new teachers like you. No fluff, just real strategies that work. Check the link in the show notes, okay? And download that, okay? With that said, we'll be back same time, same place next week. And remember, my friend, you got this.
You've been listening to the Teacher RockStar podcast with your host, Steve Hiles. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast as much as we have. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our ever-growing community of Teacher RockStars. Until then, thanks for listening.